Former Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price, thank you so much and welcome back to Ion Politics.
Glad to be here, Jack. Thank you.
Good to see you, Mayor. So, first, you are obviously among those paying tribute to former Fort Worth Mayor and longtime Congresswoman Kay Granger. How would you describe her?
Kay was a true public servant, that she was in politics for nearly 4 decades, but she never was there just for the politics. She was low key. She went about getting the job done with a fierce determination if it helped her community. She was all about this community.
And you described her in a post as a true Texas trailblazer. Hard for me to say there, but um, talk to me a little bit about that because she was the first woman to be mayor in Fort Worth, the first Republican woman to serve in Congress in Texas, the first Republican woman to be chair of the House Appropriations Committee. So
Yeah,
she fit the
she had a
bill.
lot, she had a lot of first. Yeah, she did. And as a woman, she broke a lot of glass ceilings for a lot of us. And she and I talked about that several times, that because we're not too far apart in age. But she served longer than I did. But she knew what it took. She was tough. She listened, got the facts, and went about getting the job done. And Kay didn't care whether she was a woman, man, who she was dealing with. She was just going to get the job done and treat people fairly and make it work for Fort Worth and this community.
And what would you say her greatest legacy is?
I think her greatest legacy is being that example of real service to the community and what she did. If you look at the defense industry here, if you look at when it was closed, when they did the BRAC realignment and closed, and she was mayor and she got after it and got the Joint Reserve Base here, that's a huge legacy. Her contracts for Lockheed, she was able to get for this region. Her work on the uh, Panther Island project. There's just an awful lot that Kay and her family had to be incredibly proud of, and we all should be, because without her tenacity and true Texas farm and her grit, we wouldn't have a lot of the things we have now.
And you also described her as a force to be reckoned with. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, she was tough. She asked hard questions. She dug deep to get the details, and she expected you to be totally open with her. She didn't have spend a lot of time on extra fluff, but she was always glad to see people and always made them feel welcome. But she was there for the job, and she was tough. She had to be in the environment she worked in, particularly in Congress. To go where she was, first, she set her mind out to serve on the Defense Committee, and she did that, and then to chair appropriations, and she did that. You don't get there if you're not got a lot of grit and tenacity.
And you mentioned before, obviously, you served as mayor here. What did you learn most from her?
I think just set the example of being strong and listening. Kay was a really good listener. And I've always said, God gave you two ears and one mouth for a reason. You listen more than you talk. And I think I learned an awful lot about listening from Kay and just about serving in general.
Well, that's true of my job too,
Yeah.
listening. All right, well, we're going to leave it there, and I really appreciate your
Okay.
time. Always great to see you, former Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack.